All right.
Let's go.
They can't hear us, can they?
No. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sport. And the World Cup semi-finals got underway tonight. Argentina, well, let's just say, could it be their time again, as it says in the title? I'm joined by, live from Qatar, yes, in Qatar, Jamie Davies. Jamie, how are you tonight? You were at the game as well.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, the background's a bit boring in Qatar, but no, I'm back from the apartment I'm staying in, and it's just literally a 20-minute walk from Lucial Stadium. So, yeah, what a night! In terms of, well, for Argentina, I think for the fans, no doubt they'll feel quite relieved just to make at least make sure they got to the final quite comfortably at the end, and knowing that they're just one win away from getting their third ever World Cup.
We've got Greg in the comments, our regular listener. Nice to see you. Nice to hear. Sorry, not see you today, Greg. Nice to see
Hello,
you in the
Greg.
comments. Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it, tonight watching that game of football? They dominated from start to finish. I think it would be fair to say Argentina, and we were having a bit of a debate before, weren't we, about whether Lionel Messi is the GOAT, but we'll leave that for in a couple of minutes' time. I think obviously penalty early doors. I don't know what your viewpoint was of it inside the stadium. I thought when I saw the incident that it was a penalty. The pundits on ITV said no, but the referee pundit Peter Walton said he thought it was a penalty by the letter of the law. I don't know what your thoughts on
Mm.
that was, Jamie.
Yeah, to be honest, because I was on because it was I was on the other side of the stadium, so I couldn't really see it that well. I was quite high up, so to be honest, I've not seen the replay. But I must admit, when I watched it live, I didn't suspect the penalty. Then I saw it wasn't that obvious as well afterwards because the referee didn't do the usual, pointing to the spot. And then the Argentina fans around me were celebrating, and I was a bit like, they haven't scored unless it's a penalty. And yeah, it looked like, and then they gave a penalty. So I'm not sure. I think the one thing I was a bit concerned about for Croatia was if they conceded first, I could never see them come back because they've proven in the knockout stages that they can't score. Um, they are quite a nice organized team and they play well together. They know each other, they pass it well, but there's nothing up front. Literally nothing up front. They've not replaced Mandzukic, have they? I thought maybe Kramaric might be the guy to get them the goals, especially when he scored. I think it was at least two goals against Canada in the group stages when they scored four that night. But I just worried that as long as Argentina got two just before half time, what a goal that was from Alvarez from running from the halfway line. I'm sure Pep Guardiola and the Man City fans enjoyed that. But in terms of, I'd say the first 20 minutes was not bad for Croatia. I thought they played really well. Um, but they kept Argentina a little bit quiet up front. But at the end of the day, Argentina just had a lot more firepower, and Croatia didn't have any whatsoever. But I think once it got to half time, I'm sure you're like me, Joe. I'm thinking Croatia scoring two goals. Nah, can't see it.
Yeah, yeah. As soon as Argentina doubled their lead, when they took the lead from the penalty spot, it didn't look great for them because they didn't offer too much going forward, did they? Before that, Croatia, and then obviously the penalty conceded, foul by the goalkeeper.
Mm.
Messi steps up, smashed it in, probably the best penalty he's taken in his career, I think. Well, I suppose he did score
It
from
was some
Panenka.
penalty.
He did score Panenka once for Barcelona, but I think this one's World Cup
Oh,
semi-finals, a
did
bit
he?
different. Yeah, but
Mm.
yeah, I think fantastic penalty. Then Alvarez, that goal, like you said, Pep Guardiola and the City fans will be salivating because they'll be wanting to see him do more of that in the Premier League this season. And then obviously the goal in the
Mm.
second half as well was a nice,
Mm.
tidy little finish. I think it's a shame for Luka Modric because he's a quality player, and
Mm.
what looks like his last World Cup, Croatia just didn't put up a fight in the semi final tonight, and it's a
Yeah.
shame because the country that have played some great football over the
Yeah.
last two World Cups. Okay, the Euros last year they didn't they weren't up to par. But not many teams were in the Euros last summer. But this World Cup, people might say they haven't performed as well as the previous World Cup, and they ground out results. But if it's effective, it's effective, and it's gone to back-to-back semi-finals.
I think for Croatia, I mean, before this World Cup, I didn't predict them to even get to the last four. I think for a country that's got a population of 4 million and actually doesn't have that much history in football, to say they've been to 3 World Cup semis in the space of 24 years and also make a final as well, score 2 in the final and lose 4-2 to a very good French team that and come tomorrow night, we'll know if that same squad will make another World Cup final. It's incredible. It's a great achievement. We underestimate that, from an England perspective, we underestimated them in that semi 4 years ago, and they made the final while we didn't. So I don't know about you, but I didn't expect anything from Croatia at this World Cup. I thought that this is when they said 4 years ago this is their golden generation. I thought maybe this was one tournament too far. And as you say, they weren't great at the Euros. I think they got out the groups, didn't they? But then I can't remember who they lost to now. But yeah, they didn't win in their first knockout game in the last 16, I think it was. But credit to Modric again. It's going to be a weird one for Croatia because for them now, especially the fans and Modric, we'd normally think, well, they're off home now, but they've got to stay until Saturday for that fourth final match. So, I mean, if they get third, they'll take that. But I think when they compare it to the last World Cup, mentally, will they care? Who knows? But credit's where it's due for Luka Modric. It's the first time I've seen him in the flesh, Joe, today. I think you saw him play Brazil, didn't you, in a friendly just ahead of the last World Cup?
Yeah.
At Anfield. But I never saw him before in the flesh, and my word, what a player! That guy is just so quick with his feet. His awareness is unbelievable, and even in tight situations, he still gets the ball out in favour for Croatia to carry on the possession. Unbelievable. I'll say this now: I think Modric can still play another 2-3 years. He doesn't look like he's getting old. Age is just a number for him.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's one of these players that you could see play into late 30s, maybe even early 40s. I think even once he's playing at top level at Real Madrid. What's he signing? Was it 1 year deal at the start of the season to stay on at Madrid again? I could see him doing
I think so. Yeah,
see him doing a job at another European club. Maybe not Madrid, but someone just that little level below. Maybe able to turn to Spurs or someone like that for a couple of years in Europe, and then maybe finish his days off in the MLS. But he's a player that can play for a long time. Luka Modric, and he's a legend of the game. And yeah, I remember that when I saw him play a few years back, I couldn't believe it then. Obviously, it was a much younger Luka Modric, but the way that he, for years, I thought he was a good player, but I didn't realise he's one of those where you don't appreciate it unless you see him live. If that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I think I was really excited about seeing him live tonight, and just watching him made me realise we can't underestimate Modric's career. To get his team to a World Cup final, win the Ballon d'Or and the Golden Ball for the last World Cup. Unbelievable. And I can't have lost count how many Champions Leagues he's won. He must have won 5, 6, no, 2014, 2016, 2017, 2018, and this year 5. Not bad. He's been at Real Madrid for 10 years now, and he's still one of their best players. Unbelievable. What a guy. I think we'll talk about him for a long time after he retires. But also, we were talking, I'm sure we'll mention this in a bit. You were saying Messi is the GOAT, which, of course, in case people don't know, that means greatest of all time. I always believe in greatest in his era. And I was saying to you a lot before in our group chat that Modric is in my top 5 players of this era. No doubt. No question. Done it all. The only thing that was missing was that World Cup, really. Yeah, you can't fault it.
With all due respect to Modric in Croatia, I think if he played for another country, he would have had that World Cup. he would have had that international trophy. I think.
Yeah, and I think it's a great thing to mention because we have so many small countries that have at least one or two like once in a generation player. I mean, like I know Norway aren't at this World Cup, but they got Erling Haaland, like one of the best. If Haaland was playing for Argentina or France, could you? I'm not I'm not saying he's got that. You know, he might help them get to the next World Cup or the Euros, for example. We've got a long time yet of Erling Haaland, it would seem, but maybe they could have joined another nation because of their family's background. Maybe, you know, Gareth Bale with Wales. I don't know, but maybe he could have played. No real history of success in football.
So Jamie, I didn't catch the end, but I don't know whether the viewers did or not, but I didn't catch the end bit because it broke up a little bit.
Sorry, I'm relying on my personal hotspot right now, so that might be why. But yeah, I was just saying, like, you know, players like Modric and Bale, success in the past.
Got some comments in the comment section below. Jamie Vergoin says he thinks Argentina should give up and surrender their spot in the final to Croatia. And he also said, "Do Qatar arrest people for bad trims? If so, Jamie is in trouble." I thought your trim looked all right. To be fair, Jamie. That's what I thought. I thought it looked all right.
Thank you, Joe. I'll pay that. I'll pay that $5 later.
Yeah, so we're looking on to the final. Argentina in that final.
Should we talk more about Argentina?
Yeah. Let's go for it. I think they've.
I mean,
sorry, Jamie, go on.
I do. Especially me. I wasn't convinced before this game. If you look at their run up to this final, they actually haven't beaten. They were 2-0 up and they nearly lost on penalties. It could have gone either way, and we wouldn't be talking about Messi in a second World Cup final. You look at the match against Australia, they nearly went into extra time if Martinez hadn't blocked that shot close from the end. Lost to Saudi Arabia in the opening game, but they've recovered well from that and they've made sure they've got to the final. Beat Mexico. Mexico not been great. They couldn't even get out their own group. Mexico are known for always making the last 16, so it just shows how poor their team is at the moment. I'm just trying to remember who else was in their group. Poland at the end, which they comfortably won in that one. They were the better team. But again, Poland, they don't have much talent really, apart from maybe Lewandowski and Milik up front. But yeah, I'm all I'd say is for Argentina, they've not had too much of a difficult run to that final. As I say, can only beat what's in front of you. But I think tonight they'll be delighted that there was a few goals in them and that their counter-attacking is brilliant to watch when it works. And I think that's what could be what wins them the World Cup on Sunday. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I think before the tournament started, I had Argentina, didn't I, as the winner. So partly happy to see him get to the final, and obviously as a Messi fan, I'm happy to see Lionel Messi get another chance at winning that World Cup. If he wins it, it looks great, completes his legacy. If he doesn't, then it's another stick to bashing with from people that aren't fans of Lionel Messi. I think with Argentina, I agree, they didn't look great throughout, like the group stages. They stuttered against Saudi Arabia in the opening game. Now, if they win it, the tournament, they'll be the second team to lose their opening game and then win the tournament behind.
Yeah,
do you know?
Just like Spain was 2010, wasn't it?
Yeah, there we are. Spain in 2010, yeah. So that'll be an interesting stat. and obviously you said they beat Mexico and Poland as well. So, and they weren't emphatic against Australia.
No.
The Dutch game was a very feisty affair, very
Yeah.
feisty affair, and
Mm.
should have been more cards in that game, I think. But
Yeah. How many was it? 17 overall.
I think so.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
16
Fuck's
yellows and a
sake.
red, wasn't it?
And that referee's gone home now. They've sent him home. They don't trust that ref anymore. Oh,
But yeah, I
so
think
inconsistent, that ref.
today it was an emphatic win for Argentina, and the desire to get to the finals just a little bit more than what Croatia needed. And I think they got a young squad, and a predominantly young squad, and good players in that squad. I'm a big fan of Enzo Fernandez. He's been linked with a move to the likes of Real Madrid, Liverpool, Manchester United. Those clubs have been linked with Enzo. I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the move. Could have been signed for £8 million last summer, but he ended up going to Benfica, and now they've slapped £100 million price tag on him. So that's going to be certainly interested.
Yeah.
I think
But this is it,
Alvarez.
though, doesn't it? You know.
So Jamie.
No. Go on, carry on.
Alvarez, he's quality. You've seen already in a Manchester City shirt what he can do. Defensively, they've got a solid defence. Martinez is a great goalkeeper for Aston Villa and has been doing it time and again in an Argentina shirt. As you saw, was it last summer in the Copa America? The summer just gone or the summer previous?
Yeah. No, you're right. It was the 2021 summer.
2021, yeah. So, yeah, they got a great nucleus of a squad that can go on and dominate international football for years to come. We do have a comment from Jamie going. He says, Jamie gets arrested under the Rubbish Trims Act of 2020. Do I still have to do his Secret Santa? Actually, we haven't organised that Secret Santa, but that's not really relevant to this video.
I was going to say the debate is Messi. I mean, what do you think, Joe? If Messi wins the World Cup, is that it? Does that settle the debate of, especially him against Ronaldo, that people love to portray, and also saying that he's the greatest footballer that has ever lived in the sport?
For me, it definitely cements the Messi Ronaldo debate. I think Messi's won it anyway, in
Yeah.
my only personal opinion.
Yeah.
Only because, yes, Ronaldo's won 2 international trophies at the moment. He's won the Nations League and the Euros. And Messi's only won Copa America. But Messi's, like Ronaldo's done it at multiple clubs, which there's arguments for and against, obviously. But Messi's won silverware. He's scored. Has he scored more career goals or a similar amount of career goals than Ronaldo at a younger
Something like
age?
that, yeah.
At a younger age, I think obviously both have got their attitude problems on and off the pitch. I think Ronaldo's has been a lot in the media, a lot more than Messi. Right
He's
or
ruining
wrong.
his legacy, isn't he,
Yeah,
Ronaldo?
he's tainting that legacy a little bit. But I think, Messi, for me, for what he's done for the game from a young age forward, I think Messi's the better out of those two. When it comes to greatest of all time, I'd say yes, but it's very close. You've got the likes of, for me, there's 5 players that I'd put in the greatest of all time debate. You've got Messi, Ronaldo, Maradona, Pele, and Johan Cruyff. I don't know if there's anyone else you'd chuck in for that debate there, but I think it's very, very close between Messi, Ronaldo, Maradona. I think Pele was fantastic at a younger age, but I didn't know, obviously, because well, we're only 26, 20. You're 28, is it? Recently turned 28.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't get to witness Maradona and Pele, but Maradona was closer to our time, so at least our parents witnessed Maradona.
I mean, my dad witnessed Pele, so he witnessed all of the greats. But it's mad to think though, Pele won 3 World Cups. Not bad. Not many have even won 2. Name me a player that's won 2, as well as Pele.
I'm trying to think. Did
That's hard.
Did Beckenbauer win 2? I can't think.
Mate, he won one as a coach, didn't he? And he won one as a player.
Yeah.
So he did. Those Didier Deschamps did what Beckenbauer did, and yeah.
I'm not cheating. I'm not googling multiple World Cup winners.
It's a good pub quiz if you could name them all. I wouldn't know from the top of my
Who has
head, but it
won
just shows
multiple
how
World
hard it is.
Cups? Brazil have won it
But
5 times.
speaking, Joe,
Yeah.
but Joe, speaking of someone who could win multiple World Cups, well, a few of them, is some of those in that French camp. Um, Griezmann, Mbappe, Giroud, Lloris, Varane, quite a few there. Theo Hernandez. They've got to beat Morocco, haven't they, tomorrow? I think the fans will be on Morocco's side, especially with it being in an Arab country, this match. There'll be a lot more Morocco fans tomorrow. Um, I think France know that they'll be second favourites from the fans' perspective, but they know that on paper they should win this game. And with the experience of winning the last World Cup, they should get to the final come Sunday. But it's mad to think that we could be talking about Mbappe in a second World Cup final already at the age of 23. What are your thoughts ahead of tomorrow's match? Because I'm going to say this now from a fan's perspective, in terms of entertainment, and you want goals, I think we want France Argentina. But if you want an underdog story, even if Morocco didn't win on Sunday in the final, Morocco making the final is just unbelievable. It really will put Africa on the map. Not that they have already, but the final cements that. Everyone will be talking about Morocco. The only concern I have with Morocco making the final is that they'll play very defensive again. They've only conceded one goal in this World Cup, and that was an own goal. So it wasn't even technically conceding a goal, if that makes sense, from their opposite team. So it's quite incredible, really, it's quite incredible that they might make the final. But I'm just thinking from an entertainment perspective, Morocco will play on the counter, you'd imagine, but I just don't know if they can deal with Argentina. Um, but we saw what happened to France against England. They didn't have an easy game. They struggled, but they got the goals when it mattered. And it certainly helps to have Griezmann, Mbappe, and Giroud up front. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, just before I jump into that, Pele's the only player that I can see on here that's won multiple World Cups, but Miroslav Klose is the player who's won multiple medals. So he's got runners up from 2002. He's got bronze from 2006 to 2010, and then the winner from 2014. But yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting.
That's quite good. That's quite good. I I don't know about you, but I'm like that with Olympic medals. If I was an athlete, I'd love to have all three. I'd quite like that.
I think that's quite cool, isn't it, for Miroslav Klose? Technically, most decorated World
Nice
Cup player.
collection.
Instead of okay, Pele's won the most World Cups, but you get what I mean. He's got the most medals. But yeah, in terms of the France game, I think France are my favourites. Before the tournament began, you can look back at the video on this channel as well. But I predicted a Argentina-France final, and I think because
Oh, did you?
yeah,
Oh, I bet you wish you put a bet on it. If
I bet you though, if I'd put money on it, I wouldn't win.
yeah, there is that in there.
I don't have the luck you saw in the sweepstake. Brazil went out in the quarterfinals. Still not over it. But yeah, I think France have played some great football throughout the tournament, and even with missing players like the likes of Pogba and Kante, for example, they've been missing, but they still managed to fill that
Benzema
void. Oh yeah, Benzema as well. You forget that as well.
and Konku.
And
Yeah.
you forget those players are missing from this French squad, yet they still managed to get far in the competition. They still managed to score goals. Okay, they conceded a goal in every game, if memory serves me correctly, but it's more a case of outscoring the opposition. And I think Morocco, as you said, they're very defensive minded and counter attack team. And I think, like I agree with you, I think if they play Argentina in the final, Argentina will just blitz them because Argentina got so much attacking prowess and power. They'll just break.
And they've got Messi.
Yeah,
they've got Messi. They've got Dybala, Lautaro Martinez, Alvarez. I mean, again, shouldn't underestimate Morocco because of how well they've played in this World Cup, but I just can't see it. But who knows? Who knows?
I think with France as well, like you said, they've got the ability and the patience and the experience because in their squads to know when to break teams down. It's like with England, they sat back, soaked up the pressure time and time again, and then they caught England on the counter and scored the Chouameni goal what can you say about that? What a strike! Maybe Pickford could have done better when diving across, but I think it's the sheer power that's beat him with that one. And then the Giroud one, yes, okay, you can question the England defender. Should you beat with a header at your near post? But it's the quality of the cross from the left, and Giroud gets up there and beats his marker, heads it past Pickford before he can even move. And it's those sort of goals that you got to be wary of. France, you got to be switched on from start to finish. And England weren't in that game, and that's the thing with Morocco. They're going to have to keep it really focused in the semi-final against France tomorrow. My prediction, I didn't have a great thing on our quarter-final prediction video, but I think I've got to agree with you on a France win. Whether it's another 2-1, I think France will be going to that final.
I'm gonna say France 1, Morocco 0. Morocco don't score many goals, and I think France might just do it. I just can't. It'd be interesting to see how they deal with Mbappe. It'd be like like the England game where they labelled it as Walker versus Mbappe. Mbappe was kept quiet. Walker certainly, if Morocco wanted a masterclass, watch Kyle Walker's match from Saturday. I just feel like Griezmann and Giroud are enough problems as well as Mbappe. Griezmann has been criticised at this World Cup, and I have no idea why. The guy has been brilliant. He's adapted to a different style, and he's becoming more like he scored a lot of goals at the last World Cup. Some important goals, 1 or 2 of them penalties. But this time he's gone a bit further back, but he's creating goals as well. And I think he's been unbelievable for France. I don't understand the criticism he's been getting. And Giroud, I'm sure you like me, Joe, one of the most underrated strikers in football. The guy doesn't get enough credit, I don't think. Just trying to remember if he's ever won the Champions League now.
Yeah, he has at Chelsea.
There you go. So that with the World Cup's pretty special. And as we say, they're doing this still without Kante, Pogba. Even though I'm not a Pogba fan, Pogba was brilliant at that last World Cup. He was definitely the heart of that team, and he was a leader in the change rooms as well from the footage we've seen after that World Cup. So I'm sure they missed him. They have missed him while in Qatar. But yeah, France to make 2 World Cup finals in a row, that'd be some achievement. We saw Brazil do that in 1994. No, sorry, they made 3 World Cup finals in a row, didn't they? 1994, they won against Italy, famous for Roberto Baggio missing that penalty and skied it after having a great tournament. 98, they lost 3-0 to France, the hosts, which I don't remember it, but my brother does since he's older than me. But he would say to me, like, France were not expected to win that, but they thrashed them 3-0. And then in 2002, they won it. They won their 5th World Cup, beating Germany 2-0. So, yeah, no one really thinks it's hard to win World Cups back to back. And if France at least get to the final, then fair play to them. But can they beat Argentina? I don't know who's going to win that if that does happen on Sunday. But my word, you're in for a treat of a match, I'm sure.
And we keep talking about the France evolution. Let's say it's the 4-2-3-1. Isn't it ironic? It's December and they're playing the Christmas tree formation.
Very good. It does look like that, doesn't it? They just need the World Cup at the top of it now.
You'll May.
Just like an angel on top of a tree.
So, Jamie, big question: who's winning that World Cup? Then I know we haven't had the other semi-final yet, but
yeah,
who are we having? Is it going back to Buenos Aires with Lionel Messi, or is it going back to Paris with Griezmann? I was going to say Greasy, but it doesn't really work.
That's a tough one.
With Mbappe.
That's a tough one. I mean, I've predicted.
Or is it
I've predicted that France. Oh yeah. I mean, I've predicted France to win this second semi tomorrow. So Argentina, France final on Sunday. But my God, how do you pick a winner? As I say, Argentina running up to this semi, not great. but they're in the final. France not been great, but as I say, they in my eyes they should get to the final. The fans, there'll be more Argentina fans there. That should help. France know how to win a World Cup with this squad under the same manager, and most of the players were there 4 years ago. I'm gonna sound boring here, but I think France will win it again.
Oh,
I don't have any reasons. It's just that depth that they've got. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think you're in for a treat if we do get that final. We're in for a treat. I think it could be a lot of goals in that final. The history of World Cup finals will tell you that there's not many. Normally quite boring actually World Cup finals because I think a lot of teams get nervous and they don't go out much because this is the World Cup final. They don't want to leave the pitch with regrets or mistakes. Once in a lifetime for these players and for the coaches and stuff. So it's not easy to approach a World Cup final. But I'm going to say France, but they've still got to beat Morocco. Let's see what happens. What do you think?
well, our viewers in the poll, is it Argentina's time again? 62% say yes and 38% say no. My money's on Argentina. I don't know what, it's just a feeling that I've had from pre-tournament, and even though they're not performing, or not performed great, obviously they did tonight, but in previous games they've not performed particularly great. It just seems to be one of those times where it's written in the stars. They just seems to be finding a way. If they play France or Morocco, it's like I say, with Morocco would park the bus, which I don't blame them for doing. But I could see Argentina breaking them down. With France, it's a bit more difficult because they're going to hit you on the counter, and they've got some strong players in attack themselves. So I think it could go all the way. It could be a draw after extra time, penalties, maybe something like a 2-2, and then it's who's got the bottle in that shootout. And Argentina have already proven against the Dutch that they can hold their nerve. So either way, it's going to be an exciting final, Jamie.
Yeah, I can't wait. But I think if Morocco don't make the final, then they can at least try and go for that third place, which for them would be magnificent. I feel like Morocco is kind of like the South Korea of what we saw 20 years ago when they got to the Final Four. Okay, Morocco weren't hosts to this one, but to them it's like a home tournament, especially how with them being not too far away from Qatar, really. I know they're in Africa, but you know it's also an Arabic country, so yeah, be interesting to see. I do think, yeah, don't know if Messi does bring it home on his last, on what we think is his last attempt for the World Cup, then fair play to him. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one Sunday. It really is.
Sunday is going to be a tough one. Thanks for joining us today, Jamie, from sunny Qatar. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Sunny, it's dark.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll see you all on the channel very soon.